All right. So, tonight, is all about, fitness technology. And we've got two great experts here to, share with us a bit about their companies. First up, John Santo, who is the Chief Technology Officer, co-founder, CPO, which I learned is not the Chief Play Officer. It's actually the Chief Product Officer at Echelon Fit. He before this, John had mentioned to me before the call that he used to have Santo Design Group, and then he actually their company got bought out by Echelon Fit, and now he's a part of obviously their leadership, and it sounds like growing it. So, John, I'm going to turn it over to you, and I know you're going to have something to share on the screen here in a second.
Yeah, I'm going to share just a quick video. I don't know if you guys will be able to hear the sound. Hopefully you will. Just a little video about Echelon as a whole. So I'll hit play.
We all seek to get there.
You ready to do this?
Let's do it.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
That state of euphoria.
Turn up the resistance.
That place of bliss.
Beautiful.
Where I can do this becomes I just did this.
You all crushed it today.
It's a sensation that comes right as you hit your stride and stays with you long after your last rep, row, run, or ride. The destination is the same for all of us, but there are countless ways to get there.
Look at your output.
So find that strength class that gets you pumped. Find that cycling class that gets you hyped. Find that instructor that makes you feel like the leaderboard leader.
All right, that's all.
Because once you find what brings out your best, you'll find it's worth every ounce of sweat.
One more time. Just keep moving.
Echelon. Find what moves you.
Were you guys able to hear the sound on that or no?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so basically we are a fitness company. We currently serve, we actually started, the CEO is a UCF alumni. I went to UCF. Our vice president of international is one of the other founders, is also went to UCF. So the three of us kind of started that. We also sponsored the Joust. So we'll be doing that tomorrow out at UCF as well. But we serve customers in the US, Canada, the UK. And it's been a pretty wild ride. I mean, I actually remember sitting at a Wawa gas station off of Tuscarora Boulevard with a circuit board and one of our first developers to try to see if we could even get this app and technology to connect to a bike, right? And to get real-time stats and to enable that to happen. So a lot of this tech and everything started right here in Orlando. One of our big pushes right now is, in 2020, we had a growth of about 1,000% compared to 2019. And in 2019, we only had 800,000 workouts on the platform. And last month we did 2.9 million workouts on the platform. So, and now we're in all major retailers, Costco, Walmart, Sam's Club, Dick's Sporting Goods and more. We have 70 employees right now. And we just opened a 25,000 square foot facility in Chattanooga. And we are opening another 10,000 square foot facility here in Research Park in Orlando, which will be our tech center. So we're housing that for all app related development. I'll have a small studio for filming some content and classes. Testers, engineers will all be housed right here in Orlando. And it's been pretty amazing. The company's grown. We started out with just a couple of live classes. Now we do up to 50 live classes a day, 250 to 300 per week. And we're serving customers worldwide, which is pretty amazing. And, as you saw in the video, one of the big drivers for us is we're actually helping people live better lives, right? Through the technology, what we're doing. Yeah, it's great. And we're a growing business and we're doing a lot, but we're actually helping people live better lives. We've got one of our customers, Jeff G, who's been one of our customers with us since 2019. He was 375 pounds when he started with us. And to date, he's lost 125 pounds. And, he credits that and says that it wouldn't be possible. I'll quote him. He says, "None of this would have been possible without the help and friendship of our instructors that now are his personal friends, And he's 100% convinced that he wouldn't be able to achieve these results over the past 2 years without Echelon in the community. And so it goes back to our mission statement and our elevator pitch, just saying that we want to be that fitness platform for all. We want to be able to reach people and connect with people. And I think we've been really successful at doing that, building a scalable platform that can, do 2.3 million rides a month, have a leaderboard with 100,000 people on it, giving real-time stats. It's an amazing feat and something that we've done, taking a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. And so, my heart and soul is building this stuff in Orlando and trying to hire people and being more in the community here and just hiring a lot of local talent and even bringing in tech talent to the area. So, any questions? That's a pretty quick encompassing of everything we've done over the last few years. But I'd like to open it to some questions. I normally like a question and answer rather than just being a talking head.
John, how have you guys been able to scale the business over the last year by growing that much? Like what is that?
Well, I'm just a tech genius. So, it's really, no, we have a really great engineering team. One of the big keys is for a small business. One of the services we started out with was AWS. I said, we need to put everything in the cloud and be on an AWS, because what happens is when you build an AWS, right, I don't have to worry about managing the servers. I don't have to worry about access controls. I don't have to worry about any of that. I don't have to worry about service patches on the software that's on my system. I can just literally build. And if you build it on top of an architecture that's meant to scale from the beginning, your system will just grow with you. And so that's been a large part of our success, is building that on that cloud architecture and sort of having that foresight right from the beginning, saying, hey, this could grow, and putting out a system that allowed us to do that so that we could actually focus on the product and not worry about those things.
Well, I've got a lot of questions, but I'm going to wait to hear what else comes up.
Yep. Anyone else?
What's been the most challenging thing to over the last couple of years? Obviously starting small and growing, but
yep.
What is super challenging in your day to day?
I mean, I think one of the things that's super challenging, it's sort of in two parts, right? One is not becoming a feature factory where we just churn out features, right? It's really about, and I say that also not so that you don't respond to every customer request, right? It really has to be based on the data, right? How many customers are requesting this? What does the testing data show? So that we can actually decide what we're going to work on, and then also improve and develop those features for the future, right? And continually add to that feature that might have been a major customer request. One of the challenges that comes with that, though, is, right, as you grow and as you're scaling, is being able to sort of scope those features in the right fashion, right? Because as we scale and we're in different countries, we need to be able to build those features out so that we can manage those better later, right? There's always a quick way to do it, and there's always a longer way to do it, which is typically the right way. But working with stakeholders and trying to meet the business need as fast as we're growing and trying to sort of merge those two together to something that actually works for the company, that's probably the biggest challenge, I would think, with, juggling that.
So John, a question for you. So you guys are in a business that you said you started this up when? What year was it?
We started developing it about 2016, launched late 2017 in December, and have grown monumental in the last few years.
And so my question is really, so when I think about that time frame and I think about your competitors, right?
Yep.
In that space. So when you guys were looking at this, what was kind of the catalyst to say, okay, we're going to enter a space that has on-site CrossFit. I mean, there's any number of different places to go get your workout on site. There's obviously a lot of different manufacturers of equipment, and it's interesting because as I can't even now think of the name of the other person who has a spin bike.
Yeah.
It's I don't know what that is, but somebody will think of it. But you know, how did you guys? What made you guys say, you know what? Let's jump into the fray.
I think looking at the market, when you look at it, you see a need, right? I mean, we see these products that are really high priced. Some products that were, I'm going to say, archaic, right? That didn't have that look and feel and polish of the high priced item, right? They may have been cheaper, but sort of combining that with the technology of today, right? Giving people the ability to work out in their homes and have live metrics. There was a hole there, right? There was a gap to make that accessible to everybody, right? When you have to spend almost $3,000 just to get a system in your house, and how many people are going to actually do that? But when we can offer one of our lowest priced bikes is about $500 at Walmart, and you can get a subscription and still get the same workout, we're going to reach a larger audience. And that was really the hole that we saw, that we said, hey, we can fill that need. Plus we have huge retail distribution. Typically none of this stuff was direct to consumer, which we do some of as well, but now we have a huge retail distribution in the market. And so we just kind of saw a hole and said, hey, we're passionate about building great products. We all like fitness, right? We're all trying to exercise every day. Let's try to do something that we love and that we want to be involved with every day.
What's your favorite piece of equipment?
My favorite piece of equipment, it used to be, well, first of all, we started with the bike, right? So that was a start. And then I thought it was going to be the rower, but I really like our treadmill now, because I'm on the phone so much every day that I can actually crank it up on an incline, and I can walk while on an incline and still get a really good workout. I can walk for an hour and a half, 2 hours on that thing while I'm on the phone. And so that's actually slowly become my favorite piece of equipment. I come from old school. I was a big weights guy back in the day. So college, I lifted a lot of weights and stuff. And obviously now I'm getting older, I need a little tamer workout. But the treadmill really has become my favorite piece of equipment now. Yep.
And what are all the different pieces of equipment that this works with?
So we have a treadmill. We have connected fitness bikes, we have connected rowers, and we have a reflect fitness mirror. And so, but with all three of those other modalities, the rowers, the bikes, and the treadmills, we have multiple models as well. So we have models with screens that come with our software preloaded. We have models that you can bring your own device with, right? And so that was one of the things that allowed us to get the price lower. It's like, hey, we'll just provide it to you without the screen, still connect it to an app, but just use your own device, right? Your own iPad in your house, and you download the app from the App Store. And then our fitness mirror, where you can actually see yourself as a reflection while you're working out. This is what helps you manage your form, and you can actually see results and see what you're doing while you're working out.
Where's your distribution center?
So we have multiple distribution centers. We have
Where's
one in
your-
Chattanooga, Tennessee. We have one out, and we have one out in California. Actually,
Wow.
I actually have two in California right now.
That's incredible. That is so. My wife has a Peloton. I'm not a Peloton guy, so
Yeah.
I get the whole thing. But like, I'm just sitting here thinking, like, what an incredible space to get into. And then 2020 happened, and you guys were it, right? So,
Yeah, we're at the right spot at the right time, basically. And even worldwide, right? They've had lockdowns back in the UK again, and we've exploded now over in the UK as well. So it's one of those things where you're like, wow, this was a blessing, but it's also a curse, right? So like, so many people were affected, but then like, how do I actually celebrate, right? We're doing very well, but I think, it's been a really, really great journey. And obviously I'm thankful for everything. And just, having the foresight on the market and filling those holes really helped us out.
Who do you guys see as your biggest technology competitors in the space that you're working in?
It's tough. And I just had a conversation about this today, because our technology encompasses so many different things, right? We utilize Bluetooth, we utilize wearables, we're having stats. So, I mean, you can in effect say that a company like Beachbody is a competitor, because they also have fitness programs that you can stream. Well, albeit they don't have equipment, still competition, right? We have Apple, that are big competitors. Obviously, like Eric said, that Peloton's one of our big competitors, right? They're a big competitor in the market, although different customer base probably, but they're definitely competitors in the market. So it's a hard one to pinpoint, but if I had to say two, I'd say probably Nordic Track with their platform and Peloton are probably our two biggest competitors in the market.
So I got to hold myself back because I'm just going to keep asking questions because I find it fascinating.
Yeah.
What is what's the number one, I guess, positive that you hear from your customer base? And what's the number one challenge that you guys are trying to fix that you hear from your customer base?
I think the number one thing we hear is that our community and our instructors and the platform of inclusivity that we built is amazing, right? It keeps them driven, keeps them hitting their fitness goals, whether it's the treadmill or the bike, whatever it is. And that was really one of our missions, right? Is to build this community that's really supportive. And I don't care if you're a beginner. I don't care if you're at the top of the leaderboard. I don't really care who you voted for. It doesn't matter. We're all here for the same goal, to get fit and to support each other. And that's what it is. And it's really great. And a lot of our customers have gravitated towards that. Like that example I gave with Jeff G. I mean, he really says without the community and the instructors, he wouldn't have been able to do what he did. And so I think that's a big plus. One of the things we hear so many things from instructors, and that's why I said about the feature, or not instructors, our customers, about the feature factory earlier, because there are so many apps out there with different things and different features. And I think, the number one thing we hear from customers is that we don't have enough integrations into other apps. But again, we're adding a few, but that's not really our business model, right? We want you in our app, right? Get the statistics in our product. So we're adding a few, and obviously we do surveys. So I would say that's probably the biggest thing, is just some other integrations for our customer base.
Do you find it difficult to find instructors? And the kind of the premise behind that question, actually, before I got into the Mobot, I actually looked at Spenga. I don't know if you're familiar with Spenga, the
No.
Spenga model. It's
No.
it's actually a brick and mortar boutique fitness concept that involves spin, strength, and yoga. It's actually kind of interesting concept. But I remember in going through that process, a big thing to their model is finding the right instructor, because because they have really interesting technology, and kind of a neat community. But if you don't have the right instructors, that's all that other stuff is for naught. So how do you guys go about finding those right instructors?
I mean, it's we go through an arduous interview process. I mean, they have to do a class for us and we grade them on their class, right? And so I think one of the big things too, though, for us is that since we're an inclusive platform, we do look for variety, right? We don't have one specific instructor that's like our look. We want different instructors. We want instructors that like country music, instructors that like EDM, instructors that are maybe a little crazier than other ones, maybe some that are a little more tame. And that's just our customer base. We have such a diverse group that we try to tailor to all.
That sounds like it'd be a really good competitive advantage versus somebody like a Spenga, because a Spenga, you're only going to have, five instructors probably to handle your business, and they're going to have specific personalities where I imagine you guys are able to categorize and say, well, hey, if you're looking for this type of person, this is the class. That's pretty neat.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to stop asking you questions now. I might ping you with questions offline.
I mean, you can keep asking. That's fine. I have a few more minutes, I think. So
Do you see VR coming into play in the near future?
I don't know. I mean, we've done some surveys. It's really hard when you're on actual equipment to put these Oculus glasses on people. It's a little disorienting. One of the things that may do is if we can get small enough projectors, maybe project something on a wall in front of them while they're riding or running. But I think to put actual glasses on people is a little too disorienting. I don't think the technology is there yet for this type of engagement.
So this is probably not a tech oriented, but I start thinking operationally. So if I go to a fitness place, I have to sign a waiver,
Yep.
that if I have a heart attack, doing the workout or dropping the weight on me, do
Yep.
you guys have to worry about anything like that since they're doing it from their home or?
Yeah, I mean, we always have to worry about any company. I think has to worry. Topgolf has to worry about if somebody throws a golf club or it slips out of their hand and hits the guy next to them in the next bay. I mean, as a company and as the world becomes more and more litigation happy, more and more of that goes in the terms and conditions. So, we just have a simple terms and conditions that, they have to agree to before they start the, working out. There's some safety rules that we have that they agree to, and we'll let them go.
Right.
Yep.
Any other questions for John? Ingrid, you just got back from a walk. Have you ordered up your piece of equipment from them yet?
I was looking into it. I was like, okay, what do they have and how much? And let's see. One quick question. Do you guys have Spanish instructors?
We do. We have Spanish instructors. We're actually in Mexico, Colombia, Spain, UK, Paris, and we have studios there. So we're actually opening studios, and we'll actually have Spanish speaking, German speaking classes, French speaking classes. One of the big things we're working on now is translation inside the app for all the different languages. So it's funny, our English speaking customers actually take some of the Spanish classes, and they're like, we don't know what they're saying, but we just like to ride. So it's, I think it's just new content, right? People want to soak up new material and new content, exciting for them, just keeps them going.
Ingrid, you made me think of another question. So time zones, what's your busiest time zone? Oh, I don't know.
Our busiest time zone?
Yeah. When do you find,
Well, what's crazy is since we're worldwide, our time zones are all over the place right now. But I'll stick it to the US since that's our largest customer base right now. Normally it's kind of a mix, right? Because everybody has their own schedule. So we'll see a lot of people work out early in the morning. And then some around sort of midday. And then at about 7 o'clock, we see a lot of riders on the platform. So it's kind of a little bit in spurts. And I think that goes like before work, lunchtime, and then after work, right? So we have those 3 categories. And I think those will probably be our biggest times as we grow. And we'll just have a different mix, right? As the customer base sort of expands.
Great. Any other questions? All right. Well, John, thank you very much. That's interesting. I'm going to do some online checking of your products, and I'll probably have more questions for you. I think you guys got a fascinating business.
Thanks, man. Yeah, for sure. Ping me if anybody else has any other questions as well. I'm going to go on mute now since I'm not talking, but yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sounds great. All right. So our second presenter, Eric, do I pronounce it right? Ducharme? Okay. So Eric is with us from Topgolf. He's going to tell us, I'm sure, probably about the recent acquisition. But another use, we have some. Raise your hand if you went to UCF. I think we got a lot of people. And Nathaniel, we can't see there. He is. Nathaniel's coming on. So another UCF grad. So obviously UCF, turns out some pretty good talent, which I'm glad to hear because one of my boys is a UCF student, and he's going to graduate this fall. So hopefully he'll have similar success. So Eric,
both of mine are in UCF too. One first year, one third year.
Awesome.
Yep. And my husband's an alumni.
Oh my golly.
So we got 3.
Well, so Eric, if you can tell us about Topgolf.
Yeah, absolutely. That's UCF. It's a UCF jersey right there. So UCF grad. But yeah, so Topgolf Lake Mary, we opened January 22nd, so a little over or a little under 3 months ago. So I think the premise of me being here today was to talk about the technology of Topgolf and kind of how it all works and tie that into kind of the tech space. Unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it. I think it's very fortunate, but we were acquired last week by Callaway, and we are now a publicly owned company. And some of that technology that we have is a proprietary information, and that whole insider trading and stock price and all that probably has a lot to do with what I can and cannot share. But just a little bit about kind of what the technology looks like at Topgolf for those who haven't been, right? So every single golf ball that you hit at Topgolf essentially has a microchip inside of it, right? So Topgolf was born, two brothers were sitting in a backyard, and I just pictured John sitting in his dorm room, like thinking about, hey, how can we make bikes with screens on them, right? So two brothers were sitting in a backyard hitting golf balls, and they said, well, wouldn't it be really cool to get like real-time statistics, right? And this is in the UK, so they were drinking and having some food, and they said, well, let's do this all together. And that's kind of how Topgolf was born, really. I mean, it's not like this crazy story of, this largely successful thing, right? It was just a story that was born. And first three venues opened in the UK in early 2000s, came over to the US in 2006, I believe. And that's kind of where it started. Houston Katy, I believe, was our seventh venue in the United States in 2009. And that's really kind of what spawned the growth of Topgolf. That market really, it took off at that point. And in the Texas region was kind of the region that really started it. Topgolf Lake Mary, so that jersey is number 71. So Topgolf Lake Mary was venue number 71 to open. So we have 71 venues. We opened another one after us, so we're at 72. We are opening a venue in Germany soon. We just opened in Dubai, Mexico City. So we're now, kind of a worldwide company, right? So the technology around Topgolf is there's a microchip in the golf ball. So when the golf ball is hit from a golf bay, it goes into a target that's on the field, and those targets have sensors in them. So the way the technology works is the sensors are so high tech that when the golf ball goes in, within about a second, the data from that golf ball is then shot right back to the golf bay that golf ball came from, and those statistics are projected on the TV, right? So that's basically the premise of Topgolf and the golf ball. However, more recently, Top Tracer has been kind of the center around where our technology is going. Very much like Andrea asking about VR and that technology going forward, right? Top Tracer allows us to integrate that technology. So what Top Tracer is essentially, if you watch golf on TV, the shot tracking technology, right? Topgolf purchased that and renamed it Top Tracer, and real-time statistics as far as ball speed, apex, that sort of thing is now projected in real time in the golf bay, but allows us to do VR stuff too. So most recently we acquired Angry Birds. I don't know if you guys remember that app. So you can actually play Angry Birds at Topgolf, hitting golf balls. And there are a lot more opportunities to come with that space. I think that's a tremendous white space of the business, and kind of where we're going. You can literally play an 18-hole golf course standing in a golf bay, right, at Topgolf. So, thinking about the golf industry and, 5.5 hours to play a round of golf, who has 5.5 hours these days? Nobody, right? So being able to come to Topgolf for an hour or 2 hours or something like that really allows to capture a lot more market share. And like I mentioned, 65% of the people that come in here have never picked up a golf club, and you don't have to be a golfer, because who doesn't like drinking and who doesn't like eating? And both of those are widely available at our venue as well. So.
Awesome.
Does anybody have any questions about Topgolf? Anybody who hasn't been to Topgolf?
I love Topgolf. I was just there for a leadership Seminole event maybe a week and a half ago, and they're now changing their whole fundraiser from, it used to be Bowling Green. We used to do bowling for the last few years, and now we're switching over to Topgolf. We love it.
Awesome. Yeah. Denise and Don with Leadership Seminole. It was a big meeting to try to convince them to come over, but I think the turnout and the feedback from that event really helped. And Angie, I see that you're with the Lake Mary High School Boosters, so I appreciate it. I know we have your fundraiser coming up, so but yeah, it's definitely in a much more engaging environment, right? And I think the community of Lake Mary, it's really cool, right, to open a worldwide brand in little old Lake Mary. That's what I say, right? Who'd have thought 10 years ago that that this space would host a venue of our size.
How many people can you fit into your meeting space there?
The upstairs one on the 3rd level, fire code capacity is 138. So that's our indoor meeting space. It is smaller than our Orlando venue, but yeah, right at 138 is what we can fit. And that's obviously non-COVID capacity, although we're not under any capacity restrictions from the local governments. We do try to encourage social distancing right now, just for liability, as John mentioned, right? As with anything, and being a company, even hosting events, right? Like, COVID really changed us and kind of how we evaluate what makes sense from, even my world, right? Some events we've had to turn away because it's not safe, and we can't have that right now. So
Eric, a question. So the chips that are in the, probably a couple of questions. The chips that are in the golf balls, right? Did it take them a long time to kind of figure out how to put a chip in there and still give the golf ball the same feel like a normal golf ball?
I'm sure it did. I think there's probably statistics out there that we can research, but I think we're on like the 70th iteration of the golf ball that we use. And that's not, don't quote me on that, but that's most recently what I heard. But the golf ball is compressed a little bit. So it's about 30% compression. So you're going to hit it about 30% less than you would hit a normal golf ball. But what's interesting is, though, the higher up that you go, the more realistic that goes. So we're a 3-level venue. So on the 3rd level, yes, you're hitting it 30% less distance-wise, but with the height factored into it, you're likely hitting it right about the same distance, right? So if you're hitting on the ground level, it's about 30% less. If you're hitting it on the 2nd level, you're about 15% less. And then 3rd level, it's pretty realistic at that point.
And that chip, where does it get does it need power? Does it have a little battery? I mean,
it doesn't. And there's some technology around that kind of in the back of our venue that nobody's allowed to see, but there's sensors inside where the golf bays are. So the big boxes, there's sensors in there. So the sensors only stay active for a certain amount of time, and that's how they activate, right? So when the golf ball is dispensed, there's another sensor that activates the actual microchip inside the golf ball, and that's when it stays active. And then when it goes into a target, there's another sensor in there. So it's all fiber optic technology, I believe. If you ever saw, I mean, I have the unique ability before the venue got built to see the wiring, but our server room is incredibly unsafe to walk around in with all the wires that are all over the place. So
I imagine John wants a tour of that.
That'd be pretty cool to see. The sensors are, it's interesting.
What else? Any other questions? Now, does somebody have the ability to, I mean, if I'm a regular Topgolf player, can I have like an app on my phone that, okay.
Yeah, we do have an app. You can have scores on your app. One thing that we pivoted a little bit during COVID, and one thing we're super excited about the future is, with us being so large now, we have a hard time, really engaging clients in multiple markets simultaneously. So what we've done over the past few months is our development team has created a function where you can actually be part of an event, right? Like we can literally host an event in Lake Mary, Florida, and compete against Roseville, California simultaneously and basically play a golf tournament together, and the real-time scores and real-time statistics will show up in both markets in the actual golf bays. So it obviously took a long time for that to develop. And I do think that COVID accelerated the development of that, because what we found, right? I mean, the events business at Topgolf is one of the largest drivers of revenue, right? So what we found is obviously people aren't traveling much anymore, and we've had a hard time engaging clients like we used to, right? So we're super excited about this, and it's been incredibly successful so far, and we can't wait to continue doing it. But yeah, we certainly envision the ability to compete across across the market, very similar to probably what John's company does, right? Like you're literally riding a bike in your house with people that are riding a bike in California, right? And you're doing it together and competing against each other. It's the same thing, same premise. But being able to do it at Topgolf is super exciting.
Yeah, that's interesting. I get to thinking how, a guy's weekend, golf weekend can now be virtual, it sounds like.
100%. Yeah, it's incredible.
Interesting. Any other questions? Again, I know I've got a lot of questions I'd ping you at, but I'm going to see you at multiple chamber events, so I'll probably keep pinging you with mine. Any others?
Do people try to take
A lot of my
golf balls?
questions he won't be able to answer, so they're going to be tech wise. So I'm not even going to put him in that spot.
Yeah, that's the challenging thing, man. When they reached out to me, and I'm like, man, yeah, it's a lot. We got to tread lightly, right? Like we don't even know with the acquisition. Are you guys publicly traded, John, or are you guys private?
Not yet. We're private. We just got a pretty decent round of funding from a large investment group, and we're looking to go public probably in the next 12 months.
Awesome. Yeah, it's incredible when you do go public, right? What changes very quickly.
It's already changed before that's happened. Like there's just so much where we used to be able to be like, yeah, let's do that. Sounds good. Now it's like you got to fill something out. We got to go to the board, and the board. Now you have all this. It's a different animal than it was before.
Yeah.
Well, we certainly, Eric, we don't want to have Angie doing an investigation on what you've said on a Zoom call, so we won't put you in a precarious situation.
Ingrid, did you have a question?
Yeah, just wondering, just a funny question. Do people try to take golf balls with them?
Oh yeah, all the time. And honestly, like they wouldn't know what they were doing with it, even if they got inside the golf ball. I mean, you could literally cut a golf ball open and they would have, I mean, I'm sure, I guess, if you're that savvy and know, right? Like we have a competitor, right? Like, let's not lie. Like Drive Shack is a competitor of ours, but their technology is completely different. Their technology is all camera based, where ours is all microchip based. So if you know what you're looking at, yeah, but likely the ones that are stealing the golf balls are, kids or, people. But yeah, 100%. People try to steal everything here.
So check John's pockets when he comes in business.
How many golf balls get stolen a month?
I don't know. I don't know if we can track that. I know we track how many get hit on a daily basis, and that number is incredibly large across our brand. But yeah, I mean, the microchips only last so long too. So the cost on our golf balls is a huge cost of ours. A large overhead.
So who's the maker of the clubs that you guys use? I'm sure it'll be Callaway going forward, but
it was always Callaway. Callaway always owned a small portion of our company prior to the acquisition. They owned about 14% of our company. Their CEO has sat on our board of directors since I think 2008. So Chip Brewer is he's been awesome. And they essentially just at the right time. We were looking to go public regardless of whether Callaway bought us or not prior to the pandemic. And unfortunately, as with a lot of businesses, the pandemic affected us in a really negative way, but we've rebounded really well. And Callaway came in and purchased us, and now nothing I don't think is going to really change operationally. It's just kind of back end stuff, marketing stuff. We're going to see Callaway's logo everywhere. It's already changed, right? John Rahm is a Callaway guy, and he's already wearing Topgolf logo on his shirt, right? So that's super cool, right? To have brand recognition like that. I hope Phil Mickelson gets to wear Topgolf stuff one day, but I'm sure that costs a lot of money. So.
So, not to put you on the spot, but what's your favorite golf movie of all time?
Oh man. I'm not really a movie buff, so
Happy Gilmore, come on.
yeah, I mean, I would say Happy Gilmore because I love Adam Sandler, but I mean, I'm not really a movie guy. I like what's the one with Kevin Costner? It's probably before my time. Somebody might know it. He's the golfer, and what's the name of that damn movie? I'm gonna Google it.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on that one. I've seen that one as well.
Tin Cup. There you go. 1996. So I was dating myself here. I was 7 years old at that time. So.
Well, I didn't figure you were going to pick Caddyshack. That's a little bit older, yeah.
That is a little bit older. I am not a Caddyshack fan, but I know my dad is. So.
Oh
man,
thanks,
I
Eric.
dated myself.
You just aged me in that statement. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Well, any other questions?
Yeah, I would say who would be, do you have a wish list of people you'd like to be introduced to?
Yeah, I mean, so, and we get this question a lot. We get that, and who's our biggest competitor? And I think what's really interesting is who we like to be introduced to is anybody that spends money anywhere other than their house, right? Like, so if you think about it, if you eat out, you go to dinner, right? Like that's a competitor of ours, right? Because we are a food and beverage establishment. If you go to the movies, that's a competitor of ours because you're spending discretionary money at something other than, necessary items, right? So anybody anywhere who enjoys having fun, we would love to be introduced to, right? So I think the biggest thing that we've learned over the past year is that we are a destination for anything and everything. You would be shocked at the amount of things that we host here for people, right? Like, baby showers, wedding showers. But I hosted an event for somebody who wasn't able to see their wife in 3 years because she was deployed in Afghanistan. And we were able to Zoom link them in so that way he could golf at Topgolf and also talk to his wife with the technology that we have in place, right? So like anybody and everybody that likes to have fun and engage with people is who we want to be introduced to. Because you're going to celebrate something, right? Like we all have birthdays, we all have milestones, we all have companies who like having outings, right? So, yeah.
What about business-wise introduction?
Yeah, I mean, I think fundraisers is a really huge white space in this area. I was born and raised in Lake Mary, so I just think about, right, like prior to Topgolf, like what did people really do around here? Like other than the hotels, right? Like the Marriott, the Westin, things like that. I think fundraising is a super, and I wasn't even looking at the chat, but I see Angie's blowing it up already. So yeah, I think that's a super huge white space, right? And Topgolf offers some really awesome incentives. So any nonprofit, as long as you're listed as a 501c3 tax exempt company, like you get the fundraising incentives that Topgolf offers. Young Life was one of them. They were hosted our first fundraiser. They doubled their fundraising goal on their first event with Topgolf, right? Like super successful. And the organizations that are hosting them are capitalizing on the Topgolf brand because it's new, it's exciting. They want to attend. And now they're also attending and spending money for the greater good, right? I met with Toys for Tots this morning. So we're looking at doing something really big with them at Christmas time. So again, it's really those companies that like to do those type of things.
Eric, have you guys tapped into the Seminole County school system as far as having schools do their fundraisers? I mean, 'cause I
Yeah.
know when my kids were in school, we always were like, oh, we got to go to, this venue tonight, to do a
Yeah.
fundraiser.
Topgolf, right before the pandemic, rolled out a spirit night where you partner with local schools, PTAs, things like that. Pandemic hit and that kind of went away, but we still have it, and it's just a matter of schools getting back in session and being comfortable enough. Right, it's going to take one really good event for everybody to see that it can be successful. It's just who's going to pull the trigger first, right? Like what school is going to take on that liability first, right? But I can say that we are a safe environment and we do take safety very seriously. We'll see. But yeah, Seminole County Foundation, Public School Foundation, Seminole County Public Schools. Yeah, we've been in talks with them already as well.
Yeah, offline, feel free to give me a call and chat. My wife works for one of the schools, and
awesome.
I might be able to share some ideas with you. And I used to work for Scholastic Book Fairs, so obviously we were big in the school. So I can share.
Yeah, we have a whole field trip model too, right? Like we literally host a physics class at Topgolf and talk about trajectory of golf balls. Like super, super cool. And there's all kinds of content that comes with it. And yeah, it's incredible.
Very cool. Any other questions?
This is a question for both of you. What kind of open positions do you have that you're looking for talent?
Good question.
For us, a lot of it. So Topgolf does a really unique hiring process. We do like kind of group hiring events, and we evaluate, kind of personality and that sort of thing in those environments. We do those typically once a quarter. We just had one the other day. So we will be hosting again. Typically it's all like front of house positions. So servers, bartenders, guest services, culinary needs are always going to be a thing, right? Because we have 2 kitchens in our venue and we employ about 100 culinary team members. I think to date, we have about 513 associates in our venue alone. So there's always going to be turnover. So those positions and everything's done through those group hiring events. And we would definitely post online and partner with the chamber and getting the news out for that. So.
John, did you have anybody you're looking for over there?
Looking for as far as, I'm sorry.
Open positions?
Yeah, I mean, look, right now, we just hired about 8 engineers. Our stuff is all engineers, right? So developers, iOS, Android developers, QA engineers, DevOps engineers, architecture, senior architect engineers, that type stuff. But we have feelers out all over the place. We're constantly hiring and job postings. We literally have job postings always open on the website because, with how fast we're growing, we never know. But yeah, I mean, if you guys hear anybody and want to send them over, be more than happy to look at some of their resumes.
Awesome.
Well, excellent. Any other questions? Well, we want to thank both of you for your time tonight. I know it's an evening event, can be tough, but we appreciate you taking the time to share both of your companies' exciting technology, and I look forward to learning more. Our next event is going to be on May 5th, and it's going to be about healthy lighting technology, and really how that's important in the times that we're in with the pandemic. Some interesting stuff to be coming. A last shout out to our sponsor, RB Advisory, and I know Kate will be back for the next meeting. But we're always looking for sponsors, so there are sponsorships available for the tech. So Eric or John, if you have any desire to be on here, and I think we're definitely gonna see our attendance grow. In the next 6 months, as we try some different things. So, apologize that we didn't have, many more people on tonight than we did, but the good news is it's recorded and it's well publicized out. So even if they weren't on the call here tonight, there's a lot of people that are going to be able to see it even beyond, the Seminole Chamber. So again, I personally want to, thank Eric and John, exciting stuff, and look forward to chatting with you both further. Any other thoughts or questions from anybody on the call? All right. Well, thank you all, and thank you, Nathaniel, for running the tech behind the scenes. And you guys all have a good evening.